perfect day to continue coverage of Iowa high school state softball here from the Harlan Rogers Sports Complex in Fort Dodge, Iowa. We've got 2A contests going all afternoon. That includes the Region 5 champs, the Durant Wildcats, who will take on the champions of Region 8, the West Fork Warhawks, here this afternoon. Terrific to have you aboard with us on CISN, the 2A quarterfinal here in Fort Dodge. Ben Gislason with John Schaefer. John, you've been here all week. My first game of my tour here up in Fort Dodge. But these 2A schools, the one thing I always think about with them is not only do the schools get behind these teams, but in these small communities, the whole town gets behind these clubs.
Absolutely. You might as well shut off the lights if you're the last one out of town, whether that be in Sheffield or out near Davenport there in Durant. And certainly looking forward to a good matchup between two teams that obviously have a lot of excitement coming into this tournament as we kick off 2A here on the Iowa Central Field.
Our coverage all week presented by Iowa Farm Bureau right here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company. And let's take a peek at the road to state. How did these teams get here out of their small but mighty regional towns? Well, let's start with the Region 5 champions in Durant. They defeated Lisbon, who was here last season, and their first state tournament appearance since 2017. And for a town that is looking for a winner, that's awesome to have the Wildcats back here in Fort Dodge.
Absolutely, and they won it back in 2013 in 2A, and obviously they're riding some momentum here after that strong run through the regional. They outscored their opponents in 3 regional games 20-2. And so they're just going to keep trying to keep things rolling here against a very good West Fork Warhawk squad. Keep in mind, too, a young Durant squad here today.
A very young Durant squad. No seniors on the roster for Rich Darnell and the Wildcats. The opponents of the Wildcats this afternoon, the Region 8 champions who defeated Central Springs in West Fork. The Warhawks, coached by Sadie Winfrey in her 6th season with the Warhawks. And you look at the dingers on the board. That's what jumps off the page to me, John. 26 home runs. That leads Class 2A. And leading the way there is Brooke Rother, who hit the walk-off winner in extra innings to go past Central Springs and punch the ticket here to Fort Dodge.
Yeah, they rolled through their first 2 regional games really nicely. Then Central Springs had them on their heels. And sure enough, Brooke Rother comes through in the clutch there. Second straight appearance at the state tournament for West Fork. They've only been here 2 times now, all time. So no better time than the present. And what a job Sadie Winfrey's done to get this program really rolling, again, out of Sheffield, Iowa.
Also a leader on the 2A side, Libby Truen, with a lot of strikeouts. She's had a terrific year. And 21-7, too. She's the ace. She'll take on the other side for the Wildcats. It'll be Allison Toft in the circle. Should be a great matchup. And, John, these matchups, when you look at the seeding and you look at 4 seeds versus 5 seeds, sometimes in the opening rounds of every level of tourney, whether it's 5A, 4A, 3A, or 2A, you might see a little bit of a lopsided matchup, not when you get 4 and 5.
No, this is one of those you look forward to. And just to warn viewers out there, 2 of the 3 games I've called thus far have gone 9 innings. We've needed extras. We almost did it again with the Albia matchup as they walked it off in the 7th against ELC. So I'm not promising it, but there's like a 75% chance we're sticking around a little longer than 7 innings here today between these 2 great teams.
I'm going to hold you to that, John. You've definitely had the hearts racing anytime you've had the headset on here in Fort Dodge so far this week. It's wonderful to have everybody with us here this afternoon. The 2A quarterfinal, Durant and West Fork. We've got the opening pitch coming up next here on CISN.
Here in Greater Des Moines, we're the unexpected sports mecca that feels like home. We are the big ballers, the little kickers, the underdogs, and the bulldogs. We've got events wacky and wild, big and small, we host them all. That old sports cliche, nobody believes in us? Nah, when you come here, you'll believe. Because in Des Moines, only the S's are silent. Let's go!
Good morning, oranges. Oh, top of the muffin to ya. Potato salad. We still on for lunch? Great. Sliced bread. You're the best thing I've seen since, well, you know. Oh, hello. Don't think I forgot about you. Friendly at Fairway. It's more than just a name.
Freedom Tire is proud to support the Iowa Girl through their sponsorship of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. With 6 locations around the metro, you're never far from getting you back or keeping you on the road. Our certified staff and state-of-the-art technology means you can take comfort knowing you've got the best work at the best prices. Give us a try at Freedom Tire, a proud supporter of the IGHSAU.
Hello, I'm Brent Johnson, President of the Iowa Farm Bureau.
And I'm Erin Gerlich, Executive Director of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. We'd like to thank you for joining us for the Girls State Softball Tournament.
The Iowa Farm Bureau knows that strong, vibrant schools are the cornerstone of our communities. That's why we're proud to be the title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union and this amazing state tournament. This tournament not only showcases Iowa's elite teams, but the athletes competing here today are among our nation's best and brightest. And Iowa's farmers are among the nation's most productive. Our partnership with the Girls Union gives us the opportunity to recognize both, all while supporting and lifting up the Iowa girl.
With the help of the Iowa Farm Bureau, we celebrate students' efforts not only on the field, but in the classroom as well. The Iowa Farm Bureau is committed to your success and supports our organization and the Iowa Girl. Through millions of dollars they provide in awards, grants, and scholarships that recognize athletic and academic excellence.
As Iowans, we have a lot to be proud of. Whether you're a student competing here today or a fan tuning in, we all play an important role in making our state great. So, from the Iowa Farm Bureau
and the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union,
congratulations to your school on a terrific season, and good luck in the tournament games.
Getting set for the 2A quarterfinal here from Fort Dodge. Ben Gislason, John Schaefer, Justin Wolber as well producing our show here. The Girls State Softball Tournament presented by Iowa Farm Bureau right here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. Getting set to meet both starting lineups for the Warhawks and the Wildcats. We'll hand it over now to the PA announcer here in Fort Dodge, and then we'll cast off into the 2A quarterfinal.
Number 6, Nala Wilson. Number 7, Daisy Huff. Number 12, Autumn Wood. Number 13, Talia Palmren. Number 15, Kiera Wood. Number 17, Josie Jansen. Number 18, Lily Baker. The assistant coaches are Jessica Minier and Desiree Randall. Now let's meet the starting lineup for the Warhawks. Leading off, the junior, the catcher, number 14, Abby Schoening. Batting second, a senior playing shortstop, number 4, Presley Dickman. Batting third, a senior, the center fielder, number 10, Joanna Wallace. Batting fourth, a senior, the pitcher, number 9, Libby Truan. Batting fifth, a sophomore, the first baseman, number 19, Brooke Rother. Batting sixth, a junior, the right fielder, number 11, Riley Dickman. Batting seventh, a freshman, the left fielder, number 2, Aisley Winfrey. Batting eighth, the birthday girl today, a sophomore, second baseman, number 1, Evelyn Eichhusen. Batting ninth, a freshman, the DP, number 8, Josephine Schmidt. And the flex player, an 8th grader playing third base, number 5, Kiana Peterson. Head coach for the Warhawks is Sadie Winfrey. Now let's meet the non-starters and assistant coaches for the Wildcats. Number 6, Peyton Schroeder. Number 10, Elise Jones. Number 13, Reese Mangel. Number 16, Raylyn Schlottkol. Number 17, Arlie Starr. Number 29, Jordan Enfield. The assistant coaches, Bill Chenal, Kaylin Powell, and Kendra Lewis. And now let's see the starting lineup for the Wildcats. Leading off, an 8th grader, second baseman number 23, Brianna Schlockgoal. Batting second, a junior playing left field, number 3, Paige Happ. Batting third, a sophomore, the pitcher, number 18, Allison Pop. Batting fourth, a junior, the catcher, number 9, Bailey Cracklio. Sorry, Bailey. Batting fifth, a sophomore, the shortstop, number 5, Isla Peterson. Batting sixth, a sophomore, the center fielder, number 2, Maisie Timmerman. Batting seventh, a sophomore, the third baseman, number 15, Kaylee Schlockgoal. Batting eighth, a freshman, the first baseman, number 11, Kendall Durant. And batting ninth, a sophomore, the right fielder, number 1, Allie Meinke. Head coach for Durant is Rich Darnell. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the area in front of home plate for the introduction of our umpires. At first base, Brent Lacey. At third base, Daryl Meyer. And calling the balls and strikes, Bruce Kaiser. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for state tournament softball.
Wildcats and Warhawks here from Fort Dodge as the state softball tournament continues here from the Hazel and Harlan Rogers Sports Complex in Fort Dodge. Ben Gislason with John Schaefer and the rest of our crew here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. And John, as we get set for the opening inning, 7 innings here, although by your standards it's been 9 all week apparently. Heading into extra innings, but for a Wildcats team that comes in a record of 21-12, they've won 7 of 10 going into the tourney. They'll start in the field as the home team, and they'll start with their pitcher Allison Toft, who's had a strong year, 12-2, looking for 100 Ks. She's got 99 coming into the game, and if you're going to get through the brackets here in Fort Dodge, you have to be good in the circle.
Absolutely, and I will say this, if she is off by the least bit, though, Durant has a plethora in the stable to kind of tap into. Again, just a sophomore, first time really being in this position for this Durant squad, and so you want to see if the brights get a little bit too bright at times, or what it actually looks like for this Durant Wildcats squad. But I think Toft, right now, just watching her warm up, she's pretty dialed in. She's got a lot of movement to her windup, and so I think that might be something to adjust to if you're the West Fork hitters today.
And a West Fork team that made their first state appearance in 2024 did not score a run, though. They lost in the opening game to the eventual 2A champs in Van Meter, and then in the consolation game to Lisbon. So first things first, get on the board for these Warhawks. That's the expectation here early in this one.
And it starts with your leadoff spot here. You want to try and just get a base runner or two on and play a little bit of small ball possibly there. But you talked about it in the pregame show, too. This is a team that hits a lot of home runs, 26 to be exact, leading all of Class 2A, and we're going to get things started right now.
Abby Schoening at the plate, the junior, batting .321 this season. She'll look to ignite the first inning here in this 2A quarterfinal, and we are off and into the first with the opening pitch. It's a ball for the opener for Toft. Schoening nubs one to second. There to get it is Bree Schlapkohl, and that one's bobbled at first. And West Fork, the crowd erupts, and they've got the leadoff runner aboard.
Well, and just on cue there, as Schoening shows some speed. That ball had a lot of English to it, and a quick flip because you got to try and get that throw over to beat her there. Just a little bit of a mishandle, and the air has the leadoff runner aboard here for the Warhawks.
So Schoening gets to first. 2 stolen bases on the year for the leadoff hitter. That brings Presley Dickman to the plate, the shortstop with a runner on, lays down a bunt. She'll pull it away. The runner will go to second. The throw is in time. A bullet from the plate by Bailey Cracklio, and Schoening is thrown out at second.
Cracklio must have taken exception to the announcement of her name to start, and so she gets it out of the way early and shows off the cannon. What a throwdown and another look at it.
Great look at it here, and that one even was pulled out of the dirt by Cracklio, and you couldn't have put that in a better spot for the shortstop Peterson to tag the runner out.
Just a beautiful throw from a knee, and it's a great answer there for the Wildcats after giving up that leadoff error.
Well, Cracklio, according to Coach Rich Darnell, is the calmest player on the team. Catching and being calm, you have to be that. You're oftentimes the field general as a catcher, and Cracklio showing she was cool under pressure.
Just one of two juniors on this squad, so you don't have a senior leader. You look to those two juniors to really set that standard, and her along with Paige Happ, who's out in left field, I think they'll kind of quarterback the defensive side of this team.
Dickman still at the plate here. 2-1 count to the senior shortstop. One of two Dickmans on the team. Her younger sister Briley is due up in a few batters. And a high heater. And boy, Dickman was behind that.
The rise ball doing exactly what Toft wants there. Just starts high in the zone. If you're Dickman, you're thinking it's going to stay there. Nope, just quick little spike up with that spin.
2-2 count as Toft fires. Another one that comes in high in the zone. Dickman able to lay off it.
Tries to come back with that rise ball and see if Dickman will chase up in the zone again. Does not. Full count now.
1 out for the Wildcats. Number 2 batter and Presley Dickman at the plate. A 3-2 count. Excellent eye as Dickman climbs aboard after the walk on a full count. And so yet again, West Fork has a runner on first.
Presley Dickman kind of looked back there at Cracklio too, as if to say, that one was close. I took everything to lay off of it, but she does, and she'll trot down to first. And really good job by West Fork and their 2 leadoff batters.
Now at the plate, Joanna Wallace. 3 straight upperclassmen, make it 4 straight upperclassmen with Libby Truen in the on-deck circle after Wallace here, the senior center fielder. We'll try to move Dickman along. 1 out here. Opening inning of the 2A quarterfinals here in Fort Dodge. That's a strike on the corner for a 1-1 count.
Wallace is the one they want on base. 15 stolen bases this season, and so if she gets on, she's going to be moving.
A 1-1 pitch to Wallace. This one's hit into the air, into foul territory. Tracking over for it was Haley Schlappkohl, and unable to get there from left was Paige Happ. And so that'll keep things as they were, but the count moves to 1-2.
Good effort by both players there at third and short. Just found that no man's land along the foul territory, and Wallace lives to fight another day here.
Isla Peterson racing over for that too. You had 3 Wildcats on the prowl trying to track that foul ball down. The 1-2 pitch, grounded to short. Peterson's there for it. She'll throw to 1, not in time. You called it. The speed of Wallace like a lightning bolt flashing down first base, and now 2 on here in the first with just 1 out for the Warhawks, and that'll bring up their slugger, Libby Truen.
Wallace almost a stride like a triple jump starting that off to get to that bag, and again 2 on now, and West Fork really feeling some energy. You alluded to it, didn't score a run last year. I think they want to get that monkey off the back a bit here early.
Well, they're in position to do so. Libby Truen at the plate. Takes one in the dirt. Nice work behind the dish there from Cracklio, who's had a nice inning. Able to knock that down and keep any runners from advancing. Truen this season batting .377 and has brought in 28 for the Warhawks. And a 2-0 count here. Always enjoy the pitcher versus pitcher matchups because you know they look at an at-bat different than the rest of their teammates do.
1,000%. I was just going to say, Truen knows the strike zone better than anyone, and she hasn't thrown a pitch yet.
On the 2-0 count, Truen lays off, but Toft finds the outside corner.
And she'll remember that location when she takes the circle, too. Living on that outside edge, she'll want that pitch,
notes,
too.
Right? 2-1 pitch from Toft. Truen swings and fouls it off the backstop. Rugged work in the circle from Toft as she battles back from down 2 pitches.
Little off speed there, gets in on the hands of Truen, and she does what she can to try and muscle it, but it's in off the barrel.
Already an energetic first inning.
What these 2A schools bring to this little format.
Truan's able to fight that one off in on the hands, and the Warhawks bench and student section already proving they're going to be a force to be reckoned with here this afternoon.
You can hear them through our headsets, and we might need to check a Richter scale eventually in this one.
I'll have to ask Justin if he can find a Richter scale line down here at Fort Dodge. Justin, get to work on that. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That one just missing high in the zone. Maybe a little scoff there from Toft as she pulled back, thinking she might have got Truan looking. But instead, another full count here. An intrepid opening half inning here to this 2A quarterfinal between West Fork and Durant. The payoff pitch grounded to third. Nice stab there. The fire to one is in time. A double play and a beauty from the sophomore Kaylee Schlappkohl. And Durant takes a breath.
That's knowing what needs to happen on a given play. This one shot over to her down the third baseline. Has the wherewithal to just step on the bag to throw across and gets her pitcher out of a jam. And Allison Toft owes her some dinner tonight.
Well, if this opening half inning is any appetizer to what we're about to see here this afternoon, we're in for quite a game. Scoreless, but not without some drama there in that first inning between Durant and West Fork.
At MidAmerican Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Nothing on the board yet, but there were a few ducks on the pond for West Fork in the opening half inning here from Fort Dodge. Now it's Durant's turn to head to the plate. Ben Gislason, John Schaefer, the rest of our crew here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mediacom. 2A quarterfinals rolling along today. We'll have some other scores coming your way throughout the afternoon as we get updates. And even though it's just Tuesday, it's already been a busy week here in Fort Dodge, John.
Absolutely. Started with 4A and 5A yesterday here at the Harlan Rogers Sports Complex. And upset city in Class 4A. Nearly all four low seeds advanced out of the first round. North Polk was the only one that survived out of those top four seeds, but it took a 4-run comeback in the bottom of the seventh to force extras. And then 5A, we had slugfest after slugfest. It sounded like a home run derby in the Southeast Polk game as they get upset by Cedar Falls. Centennial blasted through Valley, and so we're moving quickly, and before you know it, semifinal action will be done, and next year we'll change formats for double elimination. Looking forward to that setup and giving these teams an opportunity to battle back into a championship game.
Boy, that'll add a completely new wrinkle to the tournament and even more drama, which is one of the big reasons why we love coming here. You've seen it all week already, John, with all the extra inning games you've been a part of, and we're early in this one. West Fork and Durant getting started here as we're in the first inning, the bottom of one, and it's the 8th grader, Bree Schlappkohl, at the plate for the Wildcats, and she'll face the ace for the Warhawks in Libby Truan, 21-6 this season, and in her career, 252 strikeouts, so she's not afraid to mow them down.
Absolutely not, and Truan's going to be leaned on. There is really no one else that they've tapped into. Brooke Rother's thrown in 4 games this year, but really, it's all been Truan.
Schlappkohl, the 8th grader, who Coach Darnell told us plays like a senior. She'll try to race down the line to beat this out. Not in time on that rundown. So the opening batter for the Wildcats is retired in Schlappkohl, and that'll bring up the captain, Paige Happ, to try to get things started here for the Wildcats.
Presley Dickman reading that nicely, playing the hop just right, makes the throw across with ease. And again, this is a young Durant squad. They're going to get a lot of young players into the mix here today. Just 2 juniors, the rest sophomore, freshmen, or 8th graders.
That one's well off the plate from Truin. Happ, the junior, can do it at the plate. Has had a nice year, a home run, 11 RBI, and a .313 average, but noted for her play out in left field as well by Coach Darnell.
She was on her horse on the foul ball toward the fence out there as well.
Yeah, covered a lot of ground. .2-0 pitch is grounded to third off the glove of Peterson and into center field. That'll put Happ aboard with one out here in the first for Durant.
I like the play by Peterson. It just took a little bit higher hop than she anticipated. She was trying to kind of catch it off the short hop. Instead, bounces off her shoulder, and first runner is aboard here for Durant as you take another look. Tried to cut down on it. It's the right play, just unlucky.
So Happ reaches on an error as the three-hitter Allison Toff steps in. 24 RBIs on the season, so she can bring him around.
Happ leads the team in stolen bases with 5 this season, something to just keep an eye on.
See if they'll test the arm of junior catcher Abby Schoening here like we saw in the first. A big lead from first, and we'll see that arm from the catcher there in Schoening. Diving back at first is Happ.
No hesitation from Schoening to fire behind the runner either, and I like that. Keep her honest. You want to keep her close to that bag because you don't want her to get an idea that she can take a little bit extra jump.
And you know, after seeing Cracklio for Durant do it in the bottom of or top of one, Schoening would love to answer the bell.
It's a really nice pitch.
There. Yeah.
Really nice pitch here against Toft, and Truin getting into her bag early.
1-2 count to Toft. One out here in the first. That one's outside. And again, Schoening jumping up, trying to keep Happ honest at first.
Toft, a tall player by all standards, so tries to shrink that strike zone down just a little bit, but has a great timing step with that right foot. Something to watch.
2-2 count. Swing and a miss, high in the zone, and down goes Toft, and Truin has her first K of the day.
Truin does a nice job with the rise ball up and away. Obviously, you want to keep it away from the hands because Toft can get the barrel of the bat through quickly, but really nice job from Truin.
Still a runner on first, but Truin looking confident here as the next batter and the catcher, Bailey Cracklio, snaps one foul for an 0-1 count.
Cracklio well behind that one. And again, that's a credit to Truin mixing up pitches. Look for her to come with some off speed here.
Saw that gorgeous off speed in the last at bat against Toft. That one had a little English on it. Fouled to the left this time. That'll get over the dugout for an 0-2 count, and now Truin way ahead here on the junior Cracklio. Rich Darnell saying to finish that swing from third base. Here in this 0-2 count, let's see what Truin has up her sleeve here. That one spins down on the dirt. Swinging and missing was Cracklio. She'll run to first, but the throw is over the head of Rother. And all of a sudden, what looked to be the end of an inning turns into runners on the corners.
Yeah, Abby Schoening wants that one back, just sailed it a little bit, probably got a little excited when she actually saw how far down the baseline Cracklio got. And with that, really heads up running to get the runner around to third here with Paige Happ.
Well, one of the things about softball I've come to learn in the years I've covered this tournament is things can change in a hurry, and that's exactly what we've just seen here. Might have been a few Warhawks players that were already on their way to the dugout getting ready to go to the plate. Instead, with Cracklio aboard on an error, it'll be the sophomore shortstop Isla Peterson trying to bring in the opening run of the game with Happ at third and 2 outs. Showing bunt, the runner from first goes.
And if you're true in here, you just got to settle back down. You had a great at-bat that last time, just an unlucky break. And you need to come back here and fire away a little bit.
By the way, that's an IMT insurance substitution. Peyton Schroeder coming in to pinch run. She's at second now. Runners on second and third, 2 outs, and a 1-0 count to Peterson. Swung on and just tapped foul. That evens the count.
Good piece of hitting there, just trying to get out in front of it. But again, Truan's mixing up her spots really nicely. Goes back into the hands and makes that near impossible to hit for Isla Peterson.
Has not thrown one pitch like the last yet in this opening half inning for Truan. 1-1 to Peterson. Another bunt attempt. That one's fouled off, and so now Truan's taken away the bunt option, at least for those who aren't willing to really gamble on it, with the count 1-2.
And the other interesting thing you'll see throughout this, and at least saw it on the last pitch, was Truan actually giving her catcher the signal for what was coming after relaying it from the dugout. So, see what happens here. So there you kind of see it. Really interesting facet, not something you see every day.
Nice catch from our camera crew there as well. As the 1-2 count comes in. Oh, just off the corner.
Truan gave it a yes after she thought she had it there, and instead it's going to work to a 2-2 count.
And Schoening doing her best to try to frame that up ever so slightly. Home plate umpire Bruce Kaiser says we'll keep going. 2-2 count. Swung on and caught on the catching area behind the plate by Schoening, and so Truan's able to just sneak her way out of that inning despite some great pitching, a few errors, but no blood on the board. As Truan with her second strikeout of the inning, we stay scoreless heading into the second inning here in Fort Dodge.
Different people have different needs, so Delta Dental of Iowa has affordable dental and vision coverage that meets you where you are. Small business on a budget? We have options with no employer costs. Traditional Medicare plans don't cover dental, but we do. And if you can't get benefits at work, you can buy direct from us. Plus, we give back to local communities, so you help make an impact. Choose Delta Dental for your smile, for your health, for your community.
Well, a few stranded base runners for both the Warhawks and the Wildcats as we head to the top of the second inning here in Fort Dodge. Great to have you aboard. John Schaefer to my right. I'm Ben Gislason, Justin Wolber producing our show here, and the rest of our crew on the Girls Union Network powered by Mid-American Energy. An entertaining scoreless game, though, John, that's for sure. There have been runners in scoring position already, both at bats.
Absolutely, and some great defensive play for Durant. Got him out of the first inning, and on the other side, great pitching by Truan. Gets her out of a jam there at the home in the home half. So we just kind of keep the teeter-totter going up and down here.
An early swing from Brooke Rother, and there's the range from Paige Happ we were talking about as she tracks down that fly ball for the opening out of the inning.
Read it great off the bat. Good job using two hands. That ball had a lot of backspin off of it because it was that rise ball. And again, trying to induce that sail up and away.
Brooke Rother retired quickly. The junior right fielder Briley Dickman will step in here to face Toft in the circle. First pitch strike as an opening swing, bit behind on that fast-moving pitch there from Toft.
Dickman batting .250 this season, just 12 RBIs, so see if she can come alive here in a timely manner.
This one just over the head of third base, and I think in some circles they'd call that a Texas leaguer. Perfectly placed.
Just drops in over the head of third base, just shallow enough where no one's reaching it, and she's kind of squeezing the hands a little bit. I think it was in off the hands. She muscled it out there and must have heard me talking a little bit about that 250 BA and said, well, let's go 1 for 1 to start.
So with Briley Dickman at first, Aisley Winfrey will come in and lays down a bunt, but that's ruled a foul ball as must have went off the home plate.
Made contact with her in the box too, so no harm done. Yesterday had one of those where it hit the player out of the box and it's automatic out at that point.
Freshman Winfrey with a grounder to third. The throw to second is snapped over there, but what's been an impressive game so far for Kaylee Schlappkohl. She's been busy at third, and that last knock that just got over her head, we saw her vertical ability on that. She tried to get up and get that one.
Another look at it, and really great awareness to recognize you have the time, but also a heads-up play there at second by Brianna Schlappkohl, related, I'm sure, to get over to the second base, read her sister, and know that that's where it was going.
Schlappkohl, the older of the two, 8th grader Bree at second base, and Kaylee looking sharp at third here this afternoon. Pitch number 2 to Evelyn Heights, the West Fork Warhawks.
Gave a nice big smile when they made that extra announcement. Going into her junior year here for the Warhawks.
She faces a 1-1 count. Another one to third. Will the throw get there? Just a little bit short. And the runner will advance from second to third as Aisley Winfrey has made her way to third base. And now runners on the corners for West Fork. This long-awaited first run here in Fort Dodge could be on the horizon.
Absolutely, and with runners on the corners, that was a great throw by Bree Schlappkohl. She knew she had to get it over there in a hurry. It's one of those you need to pick me up for the dig out there at first by Dierks, but just couldn't quite get it. That's a tough short hop, and now a really tough spot with 2 outs for Toft.
Tough play for Schlappkohl in the corner there, as now Josephine Schmidt will step in. And what an opportunity here deep in the order for the designated player to have her imprint in this game.
Got to give a lot of credit to Cracklio there. Getting body in front of it, didn't chance it with the short hop.
1-0 count. Schmidt swings and misses. Behind on that as Toft blew that one in there.
Saw a meaty ball just coming right down the heart of the plate and wanted every bit of it.
Another foul ball will mean count moves to 1-2. 2 outs here, so Toft in another jam, but 1 pitch away from sealing off the Warhawks. Into the dirt, Cracklio. You brought it up, John, between her and Schlappkohl at third. They've been the 2 stars in the field so far for either team.
Cracklio's got to read those pitches well out of the hand. She's just as vital. And gets down, drops those knees, gets a wide base, and really shuts down any opportunity for a ball to sneak through.
2-2 count, 2 outs here in the second. Swing and a miss! And a huge strikeout for Allison Toft as she hangs her first K on the board this afternoon. And another big sigh of relief for Durant as they'll head to the plate here in the bottom of the second. So the trend continuing, lots of base runners, but no runs yet here in the 2A quarterfinal in Fort Dodge.
At MidAmerican Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
They'll do up here for Durant in the bottom of the second inning. It'll be Maisie Timmerman to lead things off as both teams looking for the opening tack on the scoreboard here in this 2A quarterfinal. It's been stingy so far. Both teams have had at least 2 base runners in each of the innings they've been at the plate, but nobody's been able to bring anybody across home plate yet as we get set for the bottom of 2 between Durant and West Fork, and the sophomore center fielder in Timmerman will lead off here for the Wildcats.
Timmerman batting .212 this year.
And another pitch with a nice break to it. Truan really looking in command.
She has early, and that's exactly where you want your pitcher to be. No question about it. She's not questioning her release or her pitches at all. It's been really sharp.
Already ahead on Timmerman. Another one comes in, a breaking ball that loops up, but not enough. A nice stab at first from Brooke Rother. Full extension to snare that out of the air and grab the opening out.
That just seemed to hang up there in the air forever for Rother to go and snatch it out of the air, and it's a great grab there. One more look at it.
Almost felt like it might have ended up being like the hit we saw from West Fork back in that top of 2. Just getting over the head of the third baseman Schlapkohl for Durant, but that one didn't have quite as much sting on it as the hit in that top of the second did. So good range there at first by Rother, and now that'll bring up Kaylee Schlapkohl. That one's fouled off straight back at us, John.
She's got some intensity to her, too. She's got the look on her of an ultimate competitor. It's one of those things not everyone does in these spots, but she looks just dialed in. We've seen it on the defensive side of the ball, and now in a bit of an 0-2 hole, she's going to go to battle with Truin here.
Well, and batting 7th for Darnell and the Wildcats, 11 RBIs and a .338 average. That's a nice batter to have in that spot. This one's grounded to first. Another good play from Rother, but not in time. The flip just maybe didn't have quite enough on it. Trying to get over to cover was Heithusen, and great effort from the home plate to race down first. Schlapkohl beats out the flip and has a single.
It's one of the joys of softball as you take another look at it here. Just a little bit of English on it. She ties that throw over, and any infield dribbler like that in softball is an opportunity for a close play and even a safe play, whereas baseball, so often you just see, all right, quick tag, we're done.
Yeah, the minute that ball's on the ground in baseball, it does take a little bit of the air out of the balloon. Not the case in softball. Nice bunt there down the third baseline. Great work at third by Kiana Peterson, who throws out the runner at first in Kendall Diericks, but a sac bunt, that does move the runner on to second.
I like this play by Kendall here to just play it fair. She could have easily let that try and drift foul and let the batter see another at-bat, but she was confident in herself, made the throw down, and gets another out.
So the sophomore Schlapkohl is at second. And Ailey Meinke steps into the box. Allie Meinke, pardon me. Batting .236 this season and trying to maybe bring one in here, at bare minimum, bring Schlapkohl along to third for the top of the order. Truin's pitch didn't catch the corner, and a very healthy few steps there taken at second by Schlapkohl.
She thought about it.
Well, and again, you heard this animated West Fork bench and crowd. There's no shyness in communication from our right here, is there, John?
Absolutely not, and that's what you want out of a dugout is communication. It was always, at least in baseball side of things, our coach said if you're in the dugout, you're communicating with the field on what's going on.
You seen any good hats or pageantry? I don't know. It's one of the things when I first came to Fort Dodge, I didn't know was a part of the high school softball tournament. Some of the really, they're very loud and gregarious hats. And it's a pretty cool little unique part of the element here in Fort Dodge. Nothing for these teams I've seen, but I know there'll be teams that do it this year.
Yeah, I flinched at that one, but no, nothing nothing too crazy yet. I'll keep an eye out for sure, but again, there's just something special about Fort Dodge and state softball tournament. It's always a thrill, no matter the weather, no matter the game. It's always a fun opportunity, and it's great to see these young women get an opportunity to put their best out there.
1-2 count to Meinke. Swing and a miss. Truin sits down Meinke. And so the theme of the day is runners on but not runners in, as this game stays scoreless going into the third. Truin holding strong, as now the Warhawks will look to get their bats going in the third next here from Fort Dodge.
Hello, I'm Brent Johnson, an Iowa farmer from Calhoun County and president of the Iowa Farm Bureau. As proud title sponsor of the state softball tournament, the Iowa Farm Bureau is dedicated to creating a vibrant future for Iowa through partnerships and programs that help cultivate individuals with great character, a strong work ethic, and exceptional leadership skills. Making it to the state tournament is a great accomplishment that takes a lot of support. That's why we provide millions of dollars in awards, grants, and scholarships that recognize athletic and academic excellence. The well-being of Iowa students is also very important to Farm Bureau. That's why we provide concussion insurance coverage at no cost for all students in grades 9 through 12 who participate in a sanctioned sport. As just one of only 7 states to provide this coverage, it's just another way we're striving to support Iowa's outstanding young leaders. So, from the Iowa Farm Bureau, congratulations to all the players and coaches on an outstanding season, and good luck in the tournament.
Here from the Rogers Sports Complex in Fort Dodge, it's definitely heating up as the day goes along, getting warmer and warmer. Sun is shining, and both of these teams have put on a bit of a show here, but have nothing to show for it quite yet, as we're into the top of the 3rd inning for the Class 2A quarterfinals. And the West Fork Warhawks are at the plate against the Durant Wildcats. And the leadoff hitter, Abby Schoning's at the plate, as now both teams will move around and get through the second time through their order.
Schoning, the catcher this season, again, 321 BA. Has 2 home runs, so has some power in her bat as well.
Reached first on an error in the 1st inning. Right now a 3-0 count against the pitcher Toft for Durant. Another one high in the zone, a 4-pitch walk, and Schoning will trot her way to first as the leadoff batter is aboard for Sadie Winfrey and the Warhawks.
And a quick let's go to her dugout to try and wake them up and let them know, hey, we've been close, let's try and break this.
Now, this hasn't been the issue for either team. They frequently had runners on early in the inning. It's been getting them across the plate later in the inning that's been the issue, as trying to lay down a bunt is Presley Dickman. That one's fouled off for the opening strike.
You need to keep that barrel above the ball. Anytime you dip that barrel down, you're asking yourself to get a pop-up. So move that whole bat up or down when you're laying down that bunt. But again, seeing the small ball kind of opportunities here for these teams.
Dickman walked in the 1st. She'll swing away at this one and drive one deep to center field, and that one is out of here. A 2-run shot by the senior, and the long-awaited opening, not 1 but 2 runs for the West Fork Warhawks. It's official, a 2-0 lead.
3rd home run of the season for Dickman, and that was a no-doubter off the barrel out into the bleachers and straightaway center. Deepest part of the field out here. Granted, it's 200 all the way around, but still, that thing was a moonshot. And as you alluded to, their first ever runs at the state tournament. Such a big moment for West Fork.
If you missed it, they were here last year. They fell to Van Meter and Lisbon, did not score a run. Still getting here, knowing what it's like. That's all a part of the journey for these teams. They don't look like a newcomer right now. They don't look like a team that's putting their toe in the water. Those 2 runs now for West Fork. Oh, what those mean. And how about getting it with a 2-run shot like that for the senior? And a foul ball here that Bailey Cracklio was unable to get to, trying to track down Joanna Wallace's foul back behind the plate. So she'll step in after all the hoopla. This West Fork team has a 2-0 lead here in the 3rd.
And what a moment, too, as a senior for Presley Dickman. You know, getting ready to go off to college after this. You get to represent West Fork one last time.
This one's roped to left, and the Warhawks are feeling it now. No outs in the inning as Joanna Wallace with a bullet to left is on first.
And I don't think it'll be long before she tries to take second either. Again, 15 stolen bases this season, has plenty of speed. And now the rally is rolling.
And you know the Wildcats will be aware of that base path speed. Always something that does weigh on a pitcher's mind when they know they have electric feet at first. Ever so slightly. Have to know what the situation is and know what your options are if and when Wallace decides to rev up the engines.
Truan had to get rid of a towel there. She had to get rid of a few pieces of equipment before she took the batter's box.
Truin grounded into a double play in the first. She'll lay down a bunt here. Toft snaps it to first and able to get the runner in Truin, but Truin gets some love on her way to the dugout knowing she did her job. That advances the runner in Wallace to second.
That'll bring up the big back of Brooke Rother, the hero in the regional final, and she'd love nothing more than to replicate that at bat against Central Springs. Sent them here.
This one is crushed down the line, and some great agility there at third by Daryl Meyer, the third base umpire, to get out of the way of that. By the way, that home run was an extra base hit. Extra base hits in today's game are brought to you by Channel Seeds. The enhanced Channel Seed brand is here to help farmers like you up your game and rise to the challenge. Learn more at channel.com/rise. 0-1 count to Rother. This one's hit. Infield fly. And again, a busy day continues at third for Kaylee Schlappcole as she squeezes that for an out here in the third.
Harder play than it looked as we get incoming traffic here. About the same height as that ball met in the sky, but one of those where the left side of the infield was playing deep, and so it was a shallow pop-up on the infield, and both having to get on their horse to make the play. Now 2 down with runner at second.
With Rother retired, into the batter's box comes Briley Dickman, who would love to replicate what her older sister did a few batters ago.
That's the other fun thing about getting these 2A and 1A schools. You get the sisters on the team, you get the same family names, and you almost get to see the next level coming up and what it's like for them to interact.
Yeah, the Wildcats have 3 Schlappcoles on the roster, 2 that are starting today for the Wildcats. Nice pitch there from Toft. Swing and a miss for a 0-2 count. Here to the junior Dickman. Two outs here for Toft, trying to seal out this inning and strand a runner at second. That one's high and away, and a 1-2 count.
See if Toft ever gets to a resin bag in this one too. As it starts to heat up, you get a little bit more sweat going.
Temps getting close to 90 degrees here this afternoon. That one got away from her a bit. Again, Cracklio, who's been nearly flawless behind the plate. Just that one foul ball that she wasn't able to get to. That was a tough one. She had to almost reach over the back fence there to grab it. Otherwise, she's done an excellent job behind the dish here today. So Dickman hanging around. 2-2 count. This one's knocked hard to short and off the glove of Peterson. Around comes Wallace, and it's 3-0.
That's just a hard hit ball by Briley Dickman, and it's a tough play to make that's a hard hit ball on the other side of things for Kendall Dierksen. Just one of those that's a hard play to make for Kiana Peterson.
Yeah, that thing was belted to short. Be interesting. Yeah, they counted that a hit, and I don't blame them. That was not only was it hard, but it was a short hop. It hit right before her ankles there. Tough play at short. And so now a little simpler play at short for Peterson on the pop out as she'll retire Aisley Winfrey, but not before West Fork scores their first 3 runs in 2 trips here to Fort Dodge. They're on the board 3 times. A 3-0 lead. The Warhawks are on top of the Wildcats here in Fort Dodge.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Hope you're enjoying the 2025 Girls State Softball Championships, brought to you by the Iowa Farm Bureau. As proud supporters of the IGHSAU, the Iowa Farm Bureau is committed to championing the talent, determination, and potential of our young athletes, the future of Iowa. And boy, there's bright future ahead of these Warhawks if they keep swinging the bat like they did in that second inning. A 2-run bomb by Presley Dickman, who hit that 2-run shot for the Warhawks, and then Joanna Wallace got driven in. A 3-0 lead, but now Durant will look to respond as we head to the bottom of 3 here in Fort Dodge. Ben Gislason with John Schaefer providing the tones of the afternoon here from the Rogers Sports Complex as the state of Iowa descends on Fort Dodge this time of year. And Fort Dodge, they've got everything you need here. They handle it well. It's the perfect place, specifically this complex, to host this tournament.
Been home to this tournament since the 70s. It's obviously been a great home to it and a great tradition. And again, every team at the beginning of the season, in that opening team meeting of the year, they're circling Fort Dodge and saying that's our goal. That's where we want to be. And again, it's a special place, and the union does such a great job of making this a special experience for these young women.
8th grader Bree Schlappkohl at the plate here for the Wildcats, looking to light a spark under her teammates here and try to cut into this 3-0 lead.
That one stung a bit to Abby Schoening as it deflected off the bottom of the bat into her thigh there.
1-2 count to the 8th grader. That one's high and inside, and looks like it hit the bat before it hit Schlappkohl, but she might have taken some flack on that one.
Yeah, that's one of those, it's almost a natural reaction to defend yourself from the ball. You just swing at it to try and make sure it doesn't hit you. And it's one of those awkward ones, but good job of at least fighting it off, and she gets a couple more pitches to try and get on base.
Still 1-2 to Schlappkohl. Breaking ball is fouled off again. Calling cards of a leadoff hitter being able to take pitchers deep into account and stay alive. We're seeing that now from the 8th grader here to open the 3rd. Truan checking her signs on her wrist. She'll give some signs to the catcher Schoening and now deliver. 1-2, a breaking ball hit to short. Knocked down and just in time, a sliver between the foot of Schlappkohl and the base. Great extension as well from Rother at first. If Rother doesn't extend to get that, they don't get Schlappkohl.
And Schlappkohl looks back in a bit of disbelief, but that throw is as sharp as you'll find. It was bang, bang, but a nice job down there at first base as the umpire, Grant Lacey, makes that call.
Now Presley Dickman put everything she had into that one. Not only was it hard, but it was on a bead right to the glove of Rother at first.
Presley Dickman, the only one in the infield not wearing one of those face masks for protective purposes.
Trusts her glove.
Trusts her glove a lot, and you can see why.
So with Schlappkohl retired, Paige Happ steps in and fouls one over the protective screening.
Again, heat indices up around 100 today, Benny, and a bit of a toasty one, but it's Iowa in the summer for you.
You know, it's still taking some getting used to, John. You and I share the confines of, well, what was Wells Fargo Arena, now Casey Center, working both on the Iowa Wild broadcast team, where we don't deal with weather or heat. It's always the same temperature in that building, isn't it?
It's always a little cooler in there, yeah. Stay nice and warm in your sport coat out here. Thought about the sport coat today, looked at the temperature, and thought better of it. So didn't want to show up Justin back there either, our director, and showing up in a full suit. So
we would have had to have gotten one of our cameras to really laser in on behind the dugout to you in a full suit here in Fort Dodge. Maybe the only person to ever wear a full suit into the tournament here in Fort Dodge. Is speaking of heat, Libby Truan fires one in on the hands of Happ, and Paige Happ, the captain, heads back to the dugout. Another strikeout for Truan.
That'll bring Toff to the dish. Batting .493 this season. Again, tall pitcher. Gets those hands extended. It's going to send the ball for a ride.
1-0 count to Toft.
Little screwball there, working into a right-handed batter, away from a left-handed batter.
Simple inning so far for Truant.
Drop ball starts at the knees, then drops a little bit further, just trying to get her to chase there. Such a dangerous pitch, though, too, as she works with the rise ball as well, going back and forth if she gets into that rhythm.
Again, Truant directing orders in the circle. This 2-0 count to Toff. That one's tapped to short. Dickman's there, and the easiest inning of the day for either side so far as Libby Truant and the Warhawks cruise through the bottom of the third. To the top of 4 we go. And now the Warhawks will look to try to keep that mojo they garnered in the third alive. It's 3-0 West Fork here in Fort Dodge.
Excelling in athletics takes teamwork, dedication, and a commitment to excellence. These are the same qualities that help our pig farmers and our communities thrive. The Iowa Pork Producers Association is proud to support statewide high school athletics and the student athletes who make us all proud. Visit iowapork.org/WeCare to meet the people behind the pork and hear about our winning approach to caring for our pigs, the environment, and our communities.
SWIC is a community. Southwestern Community College is a place in rural southwest Iowa where students from across the world come to be a part of a tight-knit family, Spartan Nation, where they study, train, grow, thrive, and are called by name, not by number. At SWIC, we are one.
Temperatures crossing over the 90-degree threshold here now in Fort Dodge, and the Warhawks have had the bats blistering a bit as of late. A 3-0 lead here from Harlan and Hazel Rogers Sports Complex in Fort Dodge. Ben Gislason, John Schaefer, Justin Wolber, and the rest of our crew here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. And because of the temperatures, going to take a little bit of an extended break here to make sure the players can get out of the sun, get some hydration, get some fluids. Some of these players not seeming to care too much about the sun. It looks like we've got Presley Dickman standing out there, taking in the rays, enjoying the nice heat here this afternoon. John, you and I are very blessed to get some cover here from the bleachers behind.
Yeah, you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know the heat index is 100 right now. I thought it's just another summer days. You see the Kona ice stand there. Nothing better. One of my kids' favorites when we hit the farmers market. And man, that spot's got to be. I'm going to compare it to state soccer when it was about 50 degrees and pouring rain. The coffee truck that was out there was just jam-packed. Imagine Kona Ice isn't doing too bad today either.
John, 8 years for you with WOI TV, Channel 5 in Des Moines. So you've been covering this tournament for a long time, and you're a native Des Moines Iowan, so you know this tournament, you know the history of it, you know Iowa. But as we take some time here to get ready for the fourth inning, memories you've had from coming to this tournament, what you're doing now a little bit different than standing down the third baseline where you don't have any shade and you're slugging a camera over your shoulder too.
I miss those days a little bit. I'm not going to lie. You reminisce. They got rid of the media boxes. They used to be on field, so if you had the perfect angle, you'd argue with the coach to get out of your way a little bit. Ultimately, they won that argument. But some of the great memories out here would be like Fort Dodge themselves winning the state title in 2021 in Class 5A. That was a team that had been here, obviously playing host all those years. It was such a special moment, a great bond. The head coach that year, her daughter was the pitcher as well for that team, and special there. You just remember all those, the sound bites, the willingness of teams, even after a loss, to go give you a sound bite or two. And that was always the hardest part when you catch, two rivals from, let's say, 5A or even 1A or 2A, and both of them have to talk to you after the game, and neither of them want to be there because they feel bad for the other in that sense. So
one of the things I've loved so much about, again, this is my third season coming here and covering a softball tournament, is learning where, as a Minnesotan, a transplant to Iowa, coming up on 10 years in the state, but learning where all these different places are and where these girls, where these teams come from. Of course, Durant about 314 from here to the east, just east of Iowa City. Learning that yesterday in some homework as I was getting ready for today. And then you go northeast of here about an hour and 20 minutes to find the West Fork Warhawks. And although I'd be curious how much of either communities you're going to see when you go there right now, with a lot of turnout here today for this game. Enough from us. Opening batter of the inning for West Fork is Evelyn Heitzusen. The birthday gal punches out on a grounder to second, and so it's an early out for the pitcher, Allison Toft.
Well, Northern Iowa also embracing Ragbri this week as they go to the northern part of the state. And hot day, sending well wishes to all the riders out there with that.
You ever done Ragbri?
Did the 50th
Wow.
3 summers ago, and it was 2 summers ago. It was jam-packed. It was an experience. Rode every mile but one hill. I was just like, you know what? I don't want to die on this hill today, literally. And so I walked that one hill.
Literally and figuratively, yeah.
Yes.
A great use of an expression, but a legitimate scare and a concern for potentially dying on that hill.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was a warm day out there. I think it was 90s about 5 of the 7 days we rode. So
I've heard about all the pie that you get. I think I'd want to just go from city to city eating the pie and maybe, cheering on the bikers. I don't know if I can get on my bicycle and do that. The pie sounds like the part I'd want to take part in.
The pie was great. Rode through Ankeny too, so I got to stop at home. Actually slept in my own bed one night, which was probably the saving grace for that entire trip.
I bet. Josephine Schmidt at the plate here for the Warhawks in the top of the 4th after a 3-run 3rd inning for West Fork. And Schmidt will pump up the crowd and her dugout on the way to first as she walks. As the Warhawks have had at least one runner aboard every inning now here into the 4th.
Yeah, that brings up Abby Schoening, and again, been really good behind the plate. She's got 2 home runs this year, .321 batting average, so she's got a lethal bat if you put it in the wrong spot, so a tough spot for Toft.
Schoening trying to lay down a bunt. Chased one down low in the zone there. Wasn't able to get anything on it, so it's an opening strike to the junior.
Good spot for Toft there as the bunt comes forward. And again, keep that barrel above your bottom hand on the bunt, and you're going to get it squared up pretty nicely.
Schoening 0 for 1 today. Reached on an error in the 1st. Walked in the 3rd. And she'll get on to the hit side of the board here with that knockout to left field, so it's a 1-out single for Schoening. That moves Schmidt on to second, and again, Toft starting to feel the heat behind her here, this time in the 4th.
Schoening might want to have a conversation with Coach Winfrey and just say, hey, let me swing away, no more bunts necessary. I'm hitting that ball hard every time. So another look at it. She ropes this thing out into left, and also Coach Winfrey having a discussion with Schoening with Peterson over at second base too, to remind her, hey, you got to be watching me coming around because that ball was bobbled. There's an opportunity there to maybe get an extra base out of it.
So head coach Rich Darnell is going to take his first trip into the circle here of the day. That'll allow Sadie Winfrey to come in as well and have a word with her batters, and that'll be it for Allison Toft. So her day ends with some frustration here in the 4th. So Darnell bringing Toft out of the game, and that will bring Bree Schlappkohl into the circle here, sporting some sweet shades, and she'll look to clean it up here a bit in the 4th for the Wildcats.
Just an 8th grader, 7 appearances this season, only thrown in 32 and 2/3. As we get that pitching change brought to you by IMT Insurance. And so 29 Ks this year, getting up 20 hits. I think this is one of those where, again, I think Coach Coach Darnell's looking at it as we've got to stop some bleeding here. We've only got 1 out. We need to liven things up a little bit.
Well, you brought up the options that Darnell has at his disposal, different than Winfrey and the Warhawks, who have rode the horse of Truant all season long, where you have seen Schlappkohl come in. 5 different pitchers have pitched at least an inning or more for this Wildcats team. And how about this for a moment for the 8th grader Schlappkohl coming in with your season on the line. Yes, you need some runs here, but obviously while Schlappkohl's in the circle, her job will be to keep it at 3.
Yeah, and getting some words of encouragement from her older sister there and Kaylee. And again, just kind of one of those reminders probably to let us do the work here. Let your fielders help you. I think that's sometimes pitchers feel like they're in this spot and they have to do all the work themselves, but let your defense do the job that they're out there to do too. Of course, no better batter to face than Presley Dickman right out of the gate either.
It will not be a bit of a dip your toe in the water moment here as Presley Dickman, fresh off of blasting a 2-run shot in the 3rd inning. She's right back up here in the 4th.
They're going to call the substitution up really quick. Getting a little cloud cover moving in, that helps a little bit. Winds have picked up just a hair too, so that breeze helping everyone just stay a little cooler today.
Coming in quite nicely back through here in the dugout.
This is probably the lengthiest delay I've seen in a game that I've called over the last few days. As we just get some, I'm guessing, drastic changes with substitutions.
Well, there's enough preamble to the substitution. Bree Schlappkohl into the circle to face the red-hot Presley Dickman. Her opening pitch is a ball for a 1-0 count to 4 in black and red. Similar spot there for a 2-0 count.
Definitely a different pace here to Schlappkohl and her the ball, the way it releases. So just a nice little change to the eye of the batters a little bit. I like this move by Darnell.
First 3 pitches, it almost looks like there's a little tail coming off of it as she fires it in there. Much different look than what you brought up in Toft. And a tough spot for the 8th grader to be in here. 2 runners on and 1 out here in the 4th. The Warhawks trying to stretch their lead. This one's on a rope as well, and it's down. It's just down. It got under the glove in left. And that's going to score not 1 but 2 runs. And this day is all about Presley Dickman. She's got 4 RBIs as she drives in 2 on another hammered drive, this time to left.
And that's a tough play out in left for Kendall, or I'm sorry, I think is it
that's
Kendall?
Riley that's 11 is Kendall Diericks out there in left field now. A couple substitutions made with the move from Schlappkohl.
She was at first earlier, and I was just confirming that, but she tries to dive, and I love the effort, but really tough spot. That's one of those you need to keep the ball in front of you, and again, just with 1 out, I like the effort as we get the sack bunt.
A little bit of a lapse in coverage maybe there at first. It looked like Kaylee Schlappkohl was getting ready to fire it down to 1 and pump faked, and all of a sudden, runners were both safe.
Well, that's the hard part too, right? We talk about the good move, good side of having a new pitcher come in and what that can do for a lineup. But then you move everybody around, and you watch here, the coverage wasn't there in time.
It's a little late.
It's just you got to get there a little bit faster, and that's Paige Happ who moved over there from left field.
This one is hammered but foul.
And ironically, Libby Truan knew it right off the bat. She didn't even take a step out of the box. She knew that thing was going to go foul, but that was roped.
So it's a 5-0 game after the double by Presley Dickman. She's been moved over as Joanna Wallace bunted for a single. She's 3 for 3 on the day as Wallace as Truan hits one high to center. Does this have enough to get there? No, it's off the wall. As in comes Dickman, and it is a 6-0 game.
Maisie Timmerman had it read all the way to the fence, tried to make the catch, hits off of her glove as she falls into the wall and falls to the turf. And right now West Fork cruising right now, and I think Coach Darnell is going to come out and check on her because that's a tough play. She grabbed her shoulder a little bit, but again, this one not far from getting out of here. Really nice effort to make that catch, just a little unlucky. And right now, all the breaks going West Fork's way.
That was one of those plays right at the track where it's this difficult tandem. You have to feel the track, know where the wall is, try to make the catch all at the same time. And it was almost as if her momentum, once she hit that fence, it knocked the ball out of her glove.
And that's one of those spots, too, where you almost want to have a track put in a ballpark like this so the fielder knows exactly where they're at. But, again, it's turf all the way to that fence line as that's fouled back. But it's really one of those spots where balls just hit really hard. You're trying to make a play. Ultimately, it comes down to who does or just gets a little unlucky. So,
a 6-0 spot here as the Warhawks are flying here in Fort Dodge. 9 hits for the Warhawks, just 1 for the Wildcats, and Brooke Rother firing one down the line, and Sadie Winfrey showing some agility there. And you got to be ready down the base paths on either side here if you're either of the coaches.
A little pep in her step down there, and she's even well off the coaching box just to keep herself a little more protected.
Rother with a foul there again, the count at 0-2.
Just want to get a quick bracket update. Van Meter and East Marshall on the other side of this bracket as the 1-8. Van Meter only up 4-3 as they head to the top of the 6 right now.
East Marshall looking for that Cinderella story to start the tournament, trying to knock off the defending 2A champs.
Already seen an 8-1 upset in the 4A bracket as Pella knocked off Xavier yesterday 5-1.
Well, the winner of this one here today between the Wildcats and the Warhawks will move on to face the winner of that Van Meter East Marshall game. Two-2 here to Rother. A 6-0 lead for the Warhawks in the 4th. And the 8th grader Bree Schlapkohl trying to get out of this one as Rother pounds one high into the air but foul.
That found its way over to the concession stand. I did not yell heads up on that one, although I might have needed to at times. We have some fun out here, and certainly it's a packed house. A lot of people out here in Fort Dodge, and I've got to say this is a great turnout for this 2A matchup.
Rother again, who's been ahead of it the whole time.
Needs to move up as far as she can in that box. She might already be up there, but
Coach Winfrey looking more alive by the swing down there in the third baseline.
Having a laugh with the third base umpire as well, and Daryl Meyer.
Rother lays off that one, and so the count moves to 3-2. A long at-bat here for the sophomore first baseman.
Pretty cool, too. I saw a shirt on one of the parents saying West Fork versus everybody, so it's
3-2 count, and Rother will make her way to first. A little confusion there as Joanna Wallace was hanging out at second. She'll trot easily along to third, as advancing as well from first is Kiara Wood. By the way, she's a substitution. That's brought to you by IMT Insurance out there at second base as a pinch runner. And now a meeting in the circle with the youngster Bree Schlapkohl.
Yeah, just a necessary meeting and one to calm everyone down, know your situations here. And I think that's also a spot where Coach Darnell can't really come out because it'd be another circle visit. Get any closer with that and making more substitutions and more moves to that lineup.
And John, this really feels like one of those catalyst moments of a game. 6-0. You and I have seen later come from behind efforts than that. This game far from over if Durant can get the bats going, but with runners on every base and one out, you have to find a way through this. There's a grounder. The play's going to come home, but it's over the head of the catcher. Isla Peterson got a little juiced up for that throw, and she threw it over the head of Cracklio, and that makes it 7-0. It was tailor-made to try to get the force out at home.
It was the right play and certainly knew where it needed to go, had plenty of time, and that's one of those you almost need to take the extra little hesitation to make that throw on the money, but the bleeding continues for Durant right now.
So Briley Dickman on a fielder's choice brings in Wallace, and a 7-0 lead for the Warhawks after having the gates closed on them offensively all tournament last year. Sometimes the floodgates burst open, and that's what we've seen here in this opener of their 25 state tournament. 7 runs for West Fork.
West Fork doing a little bit of what Van Meter did to them last year as well. And, you know, again, sometimes the ball's just bouncing the way one team needs it to, and the other one just can't catch a break.
Grounder foul there from Paisley Winfrey.
Durant with just one hit today, too, which, again, they've had a hard time catching true, and Libby's been really good in the circle. And 7 runs seems really tough to crack into, but, again, get out of this inning, then have a good chat in the dugout about it.
Well, and if there's a silver lining to look at from the perspective of Durant, as Schlapkohl continues to fire here, a 3-1 count, still the bases loaded. The West Fork defense has not been perfect today. They have had errors. When Durant has had base runners, it's been because of misses in the field. And so you got to get some balls in play here and make the West Fork D work. If you can't do that, you won't have a chance. But that might be something that gets discussed here if Durant can get out of this inning. 3-2 count. A necessary out here for Schlapkohl and the Wildcats. Strike 3 called in on the corner. A big moment for the 8th grader and for her whole club.
Yeah, easily Winfrey couldn't believe it. She thought it was a little in and low, but that's one of those where if it's near the zone, you got to start trying to protect and choke up a little bit. So with 2 outs, Durant can at least stop the damage.
Well, this inning started with Josephine Schmidt. She walked. They've batted around the order, and she stokes one out to right field, and that will end the inning. But again, this West Fork team, they've had the bats going all game. 10 hits, 7 runs, and the Wildcats need to sharpen their claws as we head to the bottom of 4 here at Fort Dodge.
At MidAmerican Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Thanks again to the Iowa Farm Bureau for presenting the 2025 Girls State Softball Championships as the sole title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Iowa Farm Bureau honors both academic and athletic excellence, helping to nurture the next generation of Iowa leaders. A big gap here for West Fork as they have manufactured 7 runs here this afternoon, 10 hits. Durant just 1 hit on the day. The clock starting to tick on this Wildcats team. They do have a state title back in 2013, but if they hope to try to replicate that, they're going to need to get their bats going here in the 4th.
Yeah, and they're going to need some help from Truin to maybe get a little wild here, but she's been dialed. And again, I think it goes back to that senior experience, right? Truin's been in this spot. She experienced the other side of this last year. Comes back with the mindset of, all right, let's not do that again, whereas Durant hasn't been in this spot much of their team.
There's my first flinch of the day as that one came on the tick foul back off the backstop.
It's inevitable.
One count here to the leadoff batter of the bottom of 4 in Bailey Cracklio for Durant. This one hit hard to left field. Will it be fair? It is just on the line. You can see the chalk come off there as that one hit in the deep side of left field. Cracklio wasn't quite ready to round the bases there as she ends up at first. Great work, though, in left by Winfrey to get that in a hurry, and that limits that rope from Cracklio to just a single.
That thing was smoked down the line and left, and Coach Darnell having a word with Cracklio from across the diamond, letting her know, keep running. He's like, you got to keep running there, and could have easily been a stand-up double as we get the courtesy runner.
So in comes Peyton Schroeder to pinch run for the catcher Cracklio. IMT Insurance substitution. You can worry free with IMT at imtins.com.
Either way, Coach Darnell's got to be happy, though. You get a leadoff runner on, and now you can start trying to get this comeback in motion.
Such a game of momentum, and it's amazing how quickly you can gain it and how quickly you can lose it. Nice bunt there back towards the circle. Truin fields it cleanly, gets the runner out at first as execution there was good. Schroeder gets moved along. Peterson's bunt was solid.
Just 2 hits still. That hit 2 batters ago was just the second of the day for Durant. And so now you got to string a couple of these together to really get the momentum switched. Otherwise, it's going to stay West Fork's side of the diamond.
Now just Peterson's second at bat of the day. Meanwhile, West Fork has all had at least 3 at-bats. Here's a ground ball to third, handled and thrown to 1. Good play there from the 8th grader, Kiana Peterson. But a runner into scoring position in Schroeder at third, as advancing the runner with that grounder was the sophomore Maisie Timmerman.
Really good mindset right now, though, for West Fork. You're up 7 runs. There in that spot, you might freak out a little bit. You got a runner coming at you. You might be trying to decide what to do. Instead, just get the out, keep moving forward.
There's no extra points for hanging a 0 on the opponent's side of the scoreboard here in Fort Dodge. So with that, Kaylee Schlapkohl, the sophomore third baseman, steps in with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position at third against Libby Truin, who's cruised all day. Nice pitch there. That one, a hot shot towards the dugout. That ball had some movement on it as it tailed away from the plate.
Yeah, it's absolutely some nice heat there from Truin and doing her job in the circle there to handle everything going on.
Has just seemed steady all day,
yeah.
Truin. Even earlier on when the runs weren't as many for her team, she did deal with some base runners early in this game, and she hasn't looked different with runners on or runners off. It's been the same composure every time, as Schlapkohl will pop one to short, and Truin keeps things on cruise control. Schroeder stranded at third, and we'll head to the 5th here in Fort Dodge. West Fork rolling, leading 7-0 here in the 2A quarters.
This is you. And you are why we do what we do. Each and every one of you are wonderful, amazing people. So we'll treat you that way on your journey of trusted care. Because the way you, and you feel matters. Unity Point Health. Know how much you matter to this world.
Coverage here of the 2A quarters on the Girls Union Network powered by Mid-American Energy. Continuing here into the 5th inning, the West Fork Warhawks have been sharp. A 7-0 lead, 10 hits to their name here this afternoon. Durant has had some rust on their bats. It's a tough road ahead for this Durant team, but there is still time. Ben Gislason, John Schaefer, and Justin Wolber, our producer here, providing the sights and sounds from the Rogers Sports Complex here in Fort Dodge. Some cloud cover making things a little bit cooler, but still a hot day, so we're getting a little more time in between innings. Make sure the players get enough rest and enough water, stay hydrated. Umpires included on that.
That's the big one there. These players look like they're just chomping at the bit to get back out on the field. A little bit more on the West Fork side of things.
Plenty more coverage the rest of the day as well. I know Zarin Eggestal, your partner from earlier in the day, and I will be getting set on Central Iowa Field here coming up later this afternoon. West Lyon and Cascade, the 3 seed and the 6 seed. What looks to be, at least on the homework that I was able to cobble together leading into the tournament, looks like should be a pretty good matchup. West Lyon 28-1. So can Cascade put a rare blemish on their schedule this season? We'll have to wait and see.
Cascade, a team I saw plenty at the state baseball tournament over the years, and obviously the softball team has now gotten things rolling. I believe this is their first appearance, though, since 2015, and so that'll be really nice to see how they handle the moment. And then West Lyon on the other side, their first appearance since 2004. They finished second back in 1977. That's their best ever finish. Of course, that was before the class breakdown. You just had a 16-team field at that point, I believe, or 8, whatever it was. But should be a fun day, wrapping up and just kind of continuing on, keeping the good weather here.
As we continue into the 5th, staying in the circle will be the 8th grader, Bree Schlapkohl. And John, this is an inning that you almost feel it quite simply has to be simple. It has to be a quick inning. Any more on the board, and it just doesn't look like this Durant team can muster much at this time. They have to keep it at 7. The blueprint to me feels like you get through this inning unscathed, and then you need to get at least 1, 2, get as many as you can get in the next inning, but you're not going to be able to eat this whole elephant when you get to the 6th, 7th inning. You need to start tacking some runs on sooner than later.
Yeah, it's a spot where you need a quick inning, a 1, 2, 3, where it almost feels like you never left the dugout for your at-bats, and that's easier said than done, but it's a spot where it is necessary. Otherwise, if this West Fork team can put up a few more runs and then hold them off, it's a quick game in 5. So we'll see what happens here in the 5th. Is this Warhawks team playing with a ton of confidence now, and you can't tell me they wouldn't love a rematch with Van Meter to try and make up for what happened last year.
The vengeance on their minds if they can get there, but still work to do here, trying to seal this out. As Kiana Peterson steps to the plate, her first at bat of the day.
Sorry, and it is an 8-run lead after 5. So one more run puts Durant in a hole.
Peterson, nice grab at short. After that one launched into the air, good range from the sophomore Peterson. And that's Isla Peterson retiring Kiana Peterson.
It's a Peterson
no relation that I'm aware of.
Yeah, Peterson on Peterson crime. Spell it the same even. Quick look at it. That's an E, not an O at the end of it. Great job by tracking it, elevating, and making the snag. And there's that first out, that critical one.
And at that, leadoff hitter Abby Schoening steps in. She's been on base all 3 at bats in one way or another here today. Reached on an error in the first, walked in the 3rd, a single in the 4th.
This is a part of the lineup that's done so much damage today for this West Fork team, and it's exactly what you want back up there if you're Coach Winfrey.
And the dangerous Presley Dickman on deck.
Strike, nice pitch down low, kind of just trying to get back into her zone, find that zone nicely here for Schlapkohl.
2-1 count, Schlapkohl to Schoening. This one grounded foul. Count moves to 2-2.
Again, field in great condition. Obviously going to have 8 games on this field by the time today is done, and another 4 tomorrow. Just keep it trekking on to Thursday and Friday's championship games, but grounds crew does such a great job out here.
Well, the one thing you don't necessarily see if you're just watching on the Girls Union Network is just how many hands on deck there are. As a pop-up that had a bit of confusion there between second and short. They sorted out, though, a little infighting there for that fly ball into shallow center, but they get to it okay. That was Paige Happ getting there.
The good news is Happ's about 6 inches taller than Peterson there, so even if they had collided, the ball was going to catch her glove first.
That'll bring Presley Dickman to the plate, who's had just a whale of a day. 2-run home run in the 3rd. Then she drove in 2 with a double in the 4th. Who knows what she'll do here. No one in scoring position, though, for her to add to her RBI total unless she brings herself in here. But talking about just the amount of people there are here, the staff on hand, the volunteers that come out, it's such a well-oiled machine. The girls' high school athletic union does a marvelous job of putting on this tournament. It was the first thing I noticed when I came here a few years ago, was just how well run everything is and how well stocked and how well staffed this event is.
Absolutely. They do the union does such a great job at all of the state tournaments and throughout the season to make these young women feel like it's a special moment, because it absolutely is. And you go back to Wells Fargo Arena. I know we'll be moving up to Hilton Coliseum in the coming years, but it's just a great move all around. And a great job by this staff and administration.
Warhawks trying to make Fort Dodge their home here for the next few days. Looking to advance past Durant here. They're in the driver's seat right now, a 7-0 lead with their star of the day at the plate. Presley Dickman will make her way to the base paths again as she walks here in the 5th, and a 2-out runner on first for the Warhawks.
And the bats just stay lethal here as Joanna Wallace comes up. She had a frozen rope out in the left, if I recall, in her last at bat. And just has hit the ball, seen the ball really well.
Wallace has come around a couple of times in this game. Single in the first, single in the third, a bunt single in the fourth. Trying to stay perfect. That one is just foul, although it looked like Sadie Winfrey didn't agree. She was ready to send the runners around.
It must have just missed the chalk. That thing was right on the line, but our angle is different than everyone else's, so give the benefit of the doubt to our home plate umpire today. Again, the crew has done a great job start to finish thus far.
Wallace will try to find another way onto base for a fourth time. The 0-2 pitch, this one's hit to second. Scooped up by Happ, and again, Wallace with that blazing speed. She beats out another throw. She's 4 for 4.
Shows off the speed as that one just kind of died after it hit the ground, and again, that dirt just eating it up. Another look at it one more time. She's kind of in one of those tough spots to get to. Wallace is so fast out of the box as well, and she does a great job of not slowing down her stride to get to the base. She just keeps it full momentum. And now it's a 2-out rally on the verge here for West Fork.
That brings Libby Truin to the plate. Wallace is 4 for 4 today. 3 of those 4 hits, the ball has been on the ground in the infield.
Tells you everything you know about her speed, and that's something that whoever plays them next is going to take note of, because you want to keep your infield in and tight.
She has been revving her engines all day. 2 on here, 2 out for Truin, who has done her part in the circle. At the plate today, she does have an RBI from back in the fourth.
Cannot thank or compliment Cracklio enough behind the plate with just how good she's been, though. Been a bright spot defensively for Durant in a day that's kind of been marred by some blunders at times.
Looks like they've actually put the 8th grader Reese Mangles in for Cracklio here. Just caught that.
My apologies.
Well, it doesn't deter from what you said. Cracklio has had a great day behind the plate, done her part and more.
Reese Mangles doing her part too then. Got to give her a compliment on keeping the ball in front of her, and clearly they do a nice job to work with this catching unit. It's not every day you see catchers that have as many balls in the dirt that don't get past them.
Substitution brought to you by IMT Insurance. 3-1 count here, and stroking that out to center is Truin, and a diving grab. That was a beautiful catch in center. That was Maisie Timmerman that was able to track that one down in full extension. A gorgeous grab.
Another look at it, tracks it off the bat, makes the diving grab just above the grass. Shows that ball off, and that'll end the inning, and that's the exact kind of inning that Durant team needed here with 3 at-bats left in their season right now at this point. They need to get the bats rolling.
A spectacular catch in center as Durant will try to turn great defense into great offense. We'll head to the bottom of 5 next here on the Girls Union Network.
Here in Greater Des Moines, we're the unexpected sports mecca that feels like home. We are the big ballers, the little kickers, the underdogs, and the bulldogs. We've got events wacky and wild, big and small, we host them all. That old sports cliche, nobody believes in us? Nah, when you come here, you'll believe it. Because in Des Moines, only the S's are silent. Let's go!
At MidAmerican Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Fifth inning here on the bottom side. Ben Gislason, John Schaefer, and Durant and West Fork here on the Girls Union Network, powered by MidAmerican Energy. Already an 0-1 count to the leadoff batter here in the fifth, Kendall Diericks. And Truin with a high rising heater there to move it to 0-2.
Does a nice job working back-to-back pitches there. The first was a drop ball that Diericks offered at and just dropped under the bat, and that one just rose above it.
This one grounded back to the pitcher. A quick glove and a quick out from Libby Truin.
Truin fields the position just as well as she pitches. And again, West Fork just getting all the rolls right now. Another look at it. Fast reaction there for the Warhawks. Pounces on it and nice easy flip over.
Well, there just aren't many cracks right now in Truin's game as Allie Meinke steps in and swings on a first pitch for a opening pitch strike.
More than 900 career strikeouts. She passed that number this season and the most strikeouts in all of 2A this year. She plans to continue her softball career into college as well.
Another one, perfect spot, and Meinke way behind. Durant hasn't been able to take many counts deep today either. One of the little things you can try and do to cut into the momentum of a pitcher. But West Fork's ace has been near perfect today. This one's grounded foul on the third base line. Just 2 hits. And early on, Truin did have a runner on third that she was able to get through with a strikeout on Isla Peterson. That's about the most emotional we've seen Truin get all day because it was the biggest pressure cooker situation she's seen all day.
Absolutely, and I'll give her this too. She doesn't get behind in counts. She works ahead, and that allows her to really control the at-bats, and she's done a really nice job with that as she gets another K there.
5th K of the day for Libby Truin, who's been lights out.
Committed to Kirkwood Community College to continue on, and I'm sure she'll find some development there in the JUCO ranks and try and find a way onto a Division I roster. She certainly, if you keep developing it, she's going to do some big things.
So to the top of the order we go. Bree Schlappkohl, the 8th grader, who has grounded to short in both of her at-bats today. And this Durant team in desperate need of something.
Even if it's not a comeback and a win, get a run and feed off of that going into next year. Again, such a young team, mostly sophomore except freshmen. You can use that experience and just say, hey, we felt it last year, now we can, similar to what West Fork's done.
Blueprint feels similar. A young West Fork team last year, too, that got here. And it's not to say that if you come here and you do what West Fork did last year, you look at it and say, well, what a failure. Far from that. You get to the state tournament, what an accomplishment. Whether you win 10-0 or lose 10-0, you get here, and clearly you're seeing what just an appearance can do. A West Fork team that looks like a force to be reckoned with here in Fort Dodge, the way they've handled a very good Durant Wildcats team here this afternoon.
Yeah, if the Warhawks get the bats going, they can beat anybody in the state. They're proving that again, and again, just keeping the scoring going. Now in postseason play, they've outscored teams, 26-2.
And Truin, when you have the bat strength behind you, the confidence that has to instill in her, knowing that even if she doesn't have a day like she has today, you're going to get that run support. It's a dangerous combo for any team to face.
Absolutely.
3-1 count here for Bree Schlappkohl. And she takes a late called strike there.
Yeah, she kind of gave a look back to the umpire like, really? Really? You know, but it's one of those, again, zone's a little bit wider right now with the circumstances of this game as we sit with a full count now. And
full count to the 8th grader, Schlappkohl. Truin's pitch is low in the zone, just low of it. And so Schlappkohl gets to first. 2 outs here, and 2-out rallies have been done before. Could it be a story here in the 5th for Durant? As Paige Happ, one of their captains, steps in, and this is the player you want in the batter's box in a big moment for a young team.
Yeah, the junior hitting .301 this year, has 10 RBIs. 2-out rally can start at any point.
Again, no seniors on this team, just 2 juniors in Happ and Cracklio. So this is the bat you want. This one's hit towards the gap. A diving stop at short. That was pretty to watch, but it is not effective as Dickman, great range. But The Wildcats all of a sudden have 2 aboard here with 2 outs in the 5th.
Took a hop off Kiana Peterson's glove there at third. And then right into the mitt of Dickman, and Presley does a nice job. Smart to just say, all right, I've got my battle, I've won it, made the stop. Let's just not throw this away now and let Truan go back to work in the circle against Toft, who's had her struggles today against Truan, just as most of her team has.
Toft a strikeout and a ground is short. A single for Happ, her first hit of the day, the Wildcats' 3rd hit of the day. And Toft, the sophomore, will try and keep this 2-out threat going. Toft with a greatly struck ball, and coming around from second's going to be Schlappgoal, and don't look now, but the Wildcats have found the scoreboard, and the threat's not over yet. It's 7-1.
Confident swing, and maybe being down 7 makes you a little bit more loose at the plate. You're okay with firing off on a couple of other pitches that maybe you take a first pitch or two, and instead she does a nice job as we get a circle visit and a chat from Coach Darnell.
Well, and West Fork likely looking to do the exact opposite of what you were just talking about there, John. Maybe they're starting to tighten up a little bit, as this is the first real tight situation they've been in, the first run they've given up. Likely just a, hey, we still got 6 runs. All it takes is 1 out here, and it's really no harm, no foul.
Right. You've built enough cushion where you don't need to be in this game, mentally stressing about it. Just know the next out, know where to go with the play. You've got to force out at first or second. Use that to your advantage and see if you can get out of this inning just with that 1 run given up.
Junior Bailey Cracklio at the plate. She'll show bunt. That one comes inside as Toft scampers to second. So now 2 runners in scoring position for Cracklio, who has driven in more runs this season with 28 RBIs than any Wildcats player on the roster.
So you want up in these spots.
1-0 count to the junior. And that one's outside as well.
I think Truan needs to just kind of reset, needs to bring one back into the zone, see a strike or two. Right now she's missing the zone pretty significantly in the last handful of pitches.
I'm sure Truan really trying to throw with a fine-tooth comb right now, knowing that a walk doesn't necessarily kill her here either, with Cracklio a good bat.
Absolutely, trying to, again, work all around the zone. You don't see her coming anywhere near the heart of the plate. And then you can let your defense kind of play the way they need to with a force out in any bag if you do put her on. It's going to be a take here. Obviously, with the 3-0 count, I have yet to see any player get a green light. So it'd take a special one.
Truan will look for the plate here. Is Cracklio likely with the red light? She takes one inside on the corner, and that's a 3-1 count. And now I would imagine Darnell might give Cracklio the option to swing on one here if she gets a pitch she likes. Hitters count.
Truan's a competitor. Don't think she'll just walk it.
This one is popped to second, and a little blip on the radar for Libby Truan as the shutout has been extinguished by Durant, but West Fork still in control as we head to the 6th here in Fort Dodge. A 7-1 lead for the Warhawks over the Wildcats.
We know that carrying your groceries out to your car seems a bit old school, that saying hello and asking about your day feels like a thing of the past. Being best at fresh, it's not just a fad. Serving high-quality meat at affordable prices, talk about a throwback. But at Fairway, that's kind of our thing, because some things never go out of style. Friendly at Fairway, it's more than just a name.
The Iowa Farm Bureau knows that strong schools build strong communities. That's why they proudly support the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union and this inspiring girls state softball championship. By supporting Iowa's youth, they're helping build Iowa's future. Big thanks to all of our sponsors here today for bringing you this coverage of Durant and West Fork on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. Channel Seeds, presenting sponsor of our extra base hits today. We've seen a few of those. 2-run shot from Presley Dickman of West Fork back in the third. That broke the game open. She would double later on in the game as well. Fourth inning double that brought in 2 runs for West Fork. They've got a 7-1 lead. A big thank you to Channel Seeds. The enhanced Channel Seed brand is here to help farmers like you up your game and rise to the challenge. Learn more at channel.com/rise. Also to our friends at IMT Insurance for sponsoring all substitutions and pitching changes in today's game. Brought to you by IMT Insurance. Learn how you can be worry-free with IMT at imtins.com. Great to be here at the Hazel and Harlan Rogers Sports Complex in Fort Dodge. And a 7-1 lead for a comfortable West Fork Warhawks team. Durant was able to bring in 1 run there in the bottom of the 5th inning, but it's been slim pickings for this Durant team that came into the tournament with wins in 7 of their last 10. Meanwhile, West Fork winners in 12 of their last 14 coming into the tournament. And West Fork, some wins to key on for their season this year. Looking back, wins over Osage, who was the #1 team in their conference, the Iowa East Conference this season. Also a June win versus Newman Catholic. They were the #2 team in the conference, finishing 3rd this year, West Fork, in the Iowa East Conference. And of course that W over Central Springs in the Region 8 finals. When you look at Durant, you look at some of their key victories. A 2-1 win over Louisa Muscatine in June. A key loss, I would add, if you look at a loss to a very good Dallas Center Grimes 4A school, 4-3, June 27th. Always something to keep an eye on when some of these smaller schools are able to sneak up to the big class schools and give them games, sometimes even pull out victories. Always can be huge confidence boosters for your club. So as we look ahead here to the 6th inning, a 7-1 lead for this Warhawks team. They'll have one of their sluggers, Brooke Rother, stepping to the plate. Hope you'll join us all week long here on the Girls Union Network. Ben Gislison, John Schaefer, providing the narrative here of this afternoon's game. Just a tremendous fraternity of broadcasters that this network is able to put together every single year. A lot of people coming out and giving their time and contributing to great coverage of this event.
Yeah, you're working with a great one in Zarin IGHSAU next game, and then over on the other field, I know we've had Paul Yeager, who's obviously well known with Iowa PBS. He'll be on the call for championship games. Dar Danielson mixed in there too, and so again, a great plethora of talent. Joanna Settles was on the call with me yesterday as my color analyst in our second game. She was wonderful to work with. So again, a lot of different backgrounds, but all coming together to support such a great event here at State Softball.
Yeah, just some brilliant softball minds as well. Laura Leonard here, I've got to work with her a few times, not only here, but on some regular season coverage. Saw a game ADM in Southeast Polk a couple weeks ago, got to work with her, and Allie Kappert as well. I'll be working with her tomorrow. Great coverage of the tournament here.
And again, all free for you to access through the IGHSAU website on the Girls Union, powered by Mid-American Energy Company. It's something, don't take it for granted, folks. I really do want to stress that. I think so often it's a service that's offered up, but so many states don't give you this unfettered access that is given through the Girls Union Network.
First batter of the inning was Brooke Rother for West Fork. She grounded out. That brings Briley Dickman to the plate, and she punches out. Not to put a tarnish, though, on an otherwise good day for the junior. A couple of singles, couple of RBIs for Briley. The Dickman sisters have had quite a day for this Warhawks team.
And that'll be a fun ride home for them, and maybe a fun dinner tonight with the family, too. Just
Indeed.
Great moments and great memories to kind of reflect on, especially, again, Presley, the senior.
At the plate now for the Warhawks is the freshman Aisley Winfrey.
think for the parents of those kids that have more than one on the team, do you think it's more stressful just because you've got more stress to pay attention to?
Could work opposite too. Less to pay. You're not going to zero in on just one player.
Fair.
And maybe one player, if one player doesn't have a great day, maybe the sister does. That helps kind of quell your concerns inside.
Fair.
But between the two of us, there are 3 children, and none of them are mine, John. So I can't speak to that.
Haven't had them in the high pressure spots yet. But again, Schlappkohl working through some high pressure there and gets another strikeout, and that's another fast inning for Durant.
So Durant will try to get the bats going. This one not quite over yet, but the Wildcats need to find the scoreboard as we will head to the bottom of the 6th inning next here in Fort Dodge.
The Iowa Farm Bureau is proud to present the state softball tournament and celebrate the accomplishments of Iowa's student athletes. To the Iowa Farm Bureau, this is more than just a sport. It's hometown pride, it's hopes and dreams, it's our future leaders. It's a reason to do more and be more. And it's that farm-strong spirit that can only be found in Iowa. Congratulations to the student athletes and coaches on an outstanding softball season. And remember, today's successes are just the beginning of tomorrow's achievements.
Well, the clock's starting to tick, and don't tell Libby Truin that. She's been the same in the first inning as she has in the third, as she might be again in the 6th. Just cruising today for this Warhawks team. They lead 7-1 heading into the bottom of the 6th inning here from Iowa Central Field at the Rogers Sports Complex in Fort Dodge. And the sophomore Isla Peterson will dig in here for the Wildcats in the 6th.
Can smell the sunscreen in the air. It's just a perfect summer day in Iowa. Trying to avoid the sunburn in many folks. Again, not a ton of shade for the patrons out there.
That one's high in the zone from Truin for a second strike on Peterson.
It's one of those spots, too, where Peterson's looking for the drop ball in that spot. Instead, it's a rise, and just never has an opportunity to really get on it.
The mix of pitches today from Truin has been pretty remarkable. And that's strikeout number 6 for the senior.
Credit to the coaching staff calling those pitches, and again, credit to Truin for delivering. Again, a lot of pressure on these players in the first-round game, and really I think there's a weight off of them. If you get that first win, you can play a lot more free in the semifinals, just feeling successful.
Maisie Timmerman trying to lay down a bunt there. That one goes just foul. A couple of innings ago, she made a superb diving grab in center field to end the inning for the Wildcats.
She's been busy out there in center. Almost had the great grab on that Presley Dickman double.
She's down 0-1 here to Truin. That one's deflected foul. No flinch from the broadcast team on that one, John.
Just
we
a
stood
small
ironclad
blink.
back here.
Just a small blink. It gets on you quick.
Again, Truin ahead in the count. Make it 7 for the scorching hot Libby Truin.
Truin's just in her zone right now. She is locked in, and she's having her way with every single pitch. And right now, more importantly, Durant's just guessing at a lot of them. You can see it.
They have had no answers for the magic of Truin in the circle here this afternoon.
Nice drop ball. That one testy right at the bottom of the zone. But really nice patience there by Kaylee Schlappkohl.
If there's one tell I've caught from Truin, if she thinks a ball should have been a strike, when she catches that return from the catcher, there's a little flourish of the glove. Just a little bit of emotion saying, I didn't like that call.
I'll stay up in the zone.
So behind here is Truin on the sophomore Kaylee Schlappkohl, who does have one of the 4 hits today for this Durant team. Ground ball to second. Scooped up by IGHSAU.
We're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Here we go, 7-1 in the top of the 7th. Ben Gislason, John Schaefer, and our crew here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. 2A quarterfinals closing in on wrapping up here, and West Fork will look to officially put this one to bed if they can here in the 7th.
That's right, and this one, obviously, it looked like it was going to get really ugly. Could be a fast ending to it. Instead, we go the distance, and right now we're just getting the extended break between innings to make sure everyone stays hydrated. And for this West Fork team, they're going to get ready to try and just add another insurance run. We've seen comebacks before. Yesterday, 7-3 going into the bottom of the 7th. North Polk was trailing, would claw all the way back, scoring 3 runs with 2 outs in that inning. And I know 4 is a little different than 6, but that's just to say it can be done.
So West Fork will look to add a little extra insurance here because, to your point, partner, indeed, games can change in a hurry. 1 can turn to 5 in a hurry.
And West Fork proved you can bat around. Why can't Durant? You know, it's one of those spots where I think Truan's been really sharp, but again, get a couple of good early leadoff hits, and it's a changed game all around.
I was thinking about it as you brought up that smell of sunscreen that came flowing in behind the home plate here at Central Iowa Field, and was thinking fun game for the kids to play up here in Fort Dodge would be almost a scavenger hunt, or sights or sounds or smells you could pick up here in Fort Dodge. There's so many calling cards to this tournament. Obviously the pink all over the place is such a great theme and vibe when you come in here. The different food options that you've got from around. We saw Kona Ice earlier in the day out there towards center field, but you got everything you need packed into this beautiful complex here in Fort Dodge, and you see tons of families making their way out here. The parking lot is full. Maybe even see a few campers that'll try to park out here for the whole week. And it's not just families, too. You do see fans. You see people that just want to come cheer for their towns, want to come cheer for their alma maters. And it's such a unique slice of Americana here in the great state of Iowa. And great to be here covering it with you, that's for sure, John.
Absolutely. And you also allude to, you get fans that, you know, women that have been here decades ago that just want to come back and see it again and see the evolution. Because, again, I've said it before, I'll say it again, Iowa supports women's sports so much better than most places I've seen and been, and whether that be women's basketball, softball, you know, it's soccer. The turnout at all of these tournaments is always so great, and you see it in the college ranks, and, you know, you even see it with the way the pros are received when they come to town too. So it's a special place for young women to grow up in this state and really get a feel for softball, track field, whatever it might be. They get taking it to the nines.
West Fork is an inning away from their first ever trip to the semifinals here in Fort Dodge. And they have plenty of room for error, but they'll try to add a little bit more here in the top of the 7th with Evelyn IGHSAU at the plate. Nice birthday gift for her here today would be a W on the board and getting to move their name along in the bracket.
Slight underdog as well. Should mention West Fork came in as a 5 seed, but at this stage you throw seeds out the window.
Every team deserving to be here as IGHSAU bloops one just over the pitcher. Nice play from short, but great pace from IGHSAU to get there. Isla Peterson, she got a great jump on that ball, but it was almost like a sand wedge. That ball just landed and stopped there from IGHSAU.
I've never seen a sand wedge do that in my life. Ben, you're speaking of a different game, but still, yes, absolutely. What a fielding job it was. Again, just IGHSAU hits the gas and finds her way onto first with a leadoff infield single. And as you mentioned, coming into it, West Fork really working hard to try and add maybe another run or two for insurance here to just make sure they've got a little bit of cushion.
Heithusen's second single of the afternoon as Josephine Schmidt will step in. Has a walk and has flown out today. One count as she deals with the 8th grader Bree Schlapkohl. That one's down in the zone for a called strike 2.
I think Schlapkohl's done a great job coming in since relieving Toft and done a nice job to settle things down for the most part. He's got a unique delivery, puts a lot of that side English on it, and almost works as a screwball against the right-handed hitters. It's been tough to connect with squarely.
This one's hit with some sting to left and a diving grab. Coming in there with some good pace, Kendall Diericks with a nifty catch.
Lays out for it, showing the effort. No stop in the fight here for Durant. As we get another great view of this one, just driven out into left. She dives for it, pulls it just before the grass once again, and not afraid to get the white unis a little dirty today.
To the top of the order we go. Abby Schoening in as a wild pitch goes off. Reese Mangles behind the dish, and that'll send Evelyn Heithusen to second.
That's the other interesting thing about softball. Baseball teams, they get the home and away version of a jersey. Softball teams, pretty standard, just stick with the one uni all season. So commend the parents on keeping the jerseys clean there for Durant as well.
Schoening somehow pulls a bunt out of the dirt. Nice play from third there by Haley Schlapkohl. That ball looked like it almost skipped before it got to the plate. That was an impressive bit of bunting there from Schoening, who advances the runner to third.
Well, and Coach Winfrey will tell you, if I tell you to bunt, you got to get it down no matter what. It doesn't matter if it's a two-hopper, get that ball back forward in play and move the runner over, because look who else is up. Presley Dickman once again.
And Heithusen was on the move as that bunt was laid down. So the electric bat of Presley Dickman. This one not as prolific as her last few at bats as she pops out to third, and that'll bring the Wildcats to the Last Chance Saloon. It's a 7-1 lead for the 5th-seeded West Fork Warhawks. They'll look to close it out when we come back in the bottom of the 7th here in the 2A quarters in Fort Dodge.
The Iowa Farm Bureau is proud to present the state softball tournament and celebrate the accomplishments of Iowa's student athletes. To the Iowa Farm Bureau, this is more than just a sport. It's hometown pride, it's hopes and dreams, it's our future leaders. It's a reason to do more and be more. And it's that farm-strong spirit that can only be found in Iowa. Congratulations to the student athletes and coaches on an outstanding softball season. And remember, today's successes are just the beginning of tomorrow's achievements.
One final chance for this Durant team to do the improbable and come all the way back. They're down 6 runs as we enter the bottom of the 7th here in Fort Dodge. The Warhawks have been in command since they broke the game open back in the 3rd inning. Ben Gislason and John Schaefer. And we'll see if the Wildcats have anything up their sleeve here in this final inning.
Been a fun one to call today, and so far the first one that's been a no-doubter as far as staying within our 7-inning time frame. As I say that, I'm probably broadcaster jinxing it, so for West Fork's sake.
Kendall Diericks, a grounder to short from her knees. A spectacular play by Presley Dickman. What can't she do here this afternoon?
MVP of the quarterfinals here for West Fork, and certainly deserves an all-tournament nod regardless of how the rest of this tournament goes forward. Take another look. It hits off Truan's glove. She's on her knee, gets it across, and just in time. She's got a cannon over there.
It has been a tour de force performance by Presley Dickman today. That is a tremendous bit of fielding at short there, and not to mention a 2-run home run, a 2 RBI double, 4 ribbies on the day for the senior who's been leading in a big way.
Done it all, and again, her senior season's going to continue in the winner's bracket, barring a 1-out collapse here.
Another grounder to short. This one's simpler. The throw in time, and West Fork is 1 out away as Allie Meinke will trot back to the dugout after, again, another throw out from short.
Just making it look easy, and right now I think Truan's done a great job in this inning just to put the ball in the zone, let Durant make some contact, and let her defense do the work.
One more out, and the Warhawks, for the first time, will be on their way to the quarterfinals. And Truan and Presley Dickman leading the way here today for West Fork.
See if I can find the result of that Van Meter quarterfinal for you really quick, too.
2 outs here in the final inning as Bree Schlapkohl takes a ball inside.
Van Meter does advance past East Marshall, 11-3 the final there.
Swing and a miss from Schlapkohl, and it is one more strike for Truan.
Just pulls the string so beautifully on that changeup.
Schlapkohl bloops one to second, and West Fork has the rematch with Van Meter that they've wanted. Vengeance on their minds as they soar on into the semifinals. The West Fork Warhawks have topped the Wildcats of Durant 7-1 here today in Fort Dodge, and a confident-looking West Fork team, and exactly the team they've likely had on their minds all season long in Van Meter waiting for them.
Absolutely. Van Meter gets the win over East Marshall, but more importantly, West Fork a 7-1 win here today. 12 hits for them, and really led by Presley Dickman offensively. Libby Truan in the circle was nearly flawless as well, and I think West Fork can feel confident as they get ready for the 5-1 matchup in the semifinals of this 2A bracket.
Yeah, you look at Truan, a great day, 7 strikeouts on the day, just 4 hits allowed, 1 run given up. And then offensively, it was all about the senior Presley Dickman, who ends the day 2 walks, a double with 2 RBIs, a 2-run home run, and then a little bloop to third because she'd done her work by that point.
Absolutely.
And so celebrations all around for the West Fork Warhawks as they are on to take on Van Meter in the semifinals of the 2A tournament. John, pleasure's been all mine today. Great working with you, and a big thank you to Justin Wolber as well for all his work. And John, we'll see you at the rink in the fall.
Sounds good. Looking forward to cooling off a bit.
Thanks to Justin Wolber and everybody that made today's broadcast possible here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. West Fork 7, Durant 1. That's the final here in the 2A quarterfinals. Plenty more coverage coming your way here on the Girls Union Network the rest of the week. That includes Zarin Eggesdahl and I, as West Lyon and Cascade will battle here shortly. Until then, I'm Ben Gislason. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed the show. And a fond farewell from Fort Dodge.